Welcome to the Sam and Joe VA Show, where we teach women just like you how to create your very own in-demand virtual assistant business.
We're your hosts, Sam and Joe, and get ready to have the control, flexibility, and freedom you've always dreamed of.
Welcome to episode 21, Make More Money as a Virtual Assistant.
Today, Joe and I are sitting down with Natalie Coombe, pricing expert. Welcome, Natalie.
Thank you guys for having me. It's awesome to be here.
Oh, we always love chatting with you. You've been a friend, well, you are a friend of the virtual assistant community for a long time. And oh my goodness, if there's anything about pricing, any questions, you are always our go-to person. Natalie, you're all about empowering female entrepreneurs to nail their pricing points, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there are so many women who are taking the plunge into their own business and taking kind of their future into their own hands. And, it's such an incredible journey for them to go on. So anything I can do to help them make that successful and profitable in a really healthy way, I am all for.
So I've got a question before we get into the real nitty gritty of pricing.
Yes.
Have you got any thoughts on why women in particular really struggle with money in general, like talking about it, earning it, asking for it, celebrating it, everything?
Yeah. I have a few. People in general, I know certainly as a Kiwi, it might be different in different cultures, but we're grown up to not talk about money, to not talk about finances. Our families, our parents often never really shared the details about money. It was like a taboo subject. And then I think, so that's kind of in our heads as well. Don't talk about it. It's kind of a dirty subject. Making money is a bit of a dirty subject. Making money helping people is a dirty subject. So there's all these narratives that we've grown up with, that we hear about, that I think are real blockers when it comes to feeling free and open and happy about making money. And I think as well, for women in particular, I think there are issues with our sense of value. We are often, as a society, I'm going to go deep, as a society, we are kind of valued for putting other people above ourselves. And whether that's as a mother, as a wife, as a colleague, as a friend, it's all about, she's so selfless. She does all this stuff for other people, and we're valued and put on a pedestal for putting other people first. And we can discuss whether or not that's appropriate outside of business, but inside business, if you put yourself last in business, that is where you will stay. And so as women, we have to find a way of not putting ourselves last in business, but in a way that is true to our often giving, nurturing, caring, helping nature, and finding a way that aligns those two. And it's totally possible to do. I think one of the blockers that a lot of people struggle with as well, and this is also to come to your question around why do women in particular struggle with money and talking about it, numbers, is we tend to think our salary is a reward for doing a really good job, right?
Yeah.
It's a reward that eventually, at some point, when you worked hard enough and struggled for long enough, you will get to a place where you're successful enough to pay yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And for a lot of certainly women in business, people in business, you're not in business long enough to get to that place because you burn out. Or you have to give up because actually there are other things you need to be spending your time on if you're not making the money you need to. So, and the actual truth is your salary isn't a reward for doing a good job, right? It's just a fixed business cost that you have to plan for.
Yeah.
And if you don't plan to make a salary, you won't make a salary.
And then what's the point?
And what's the point? Yeah. Our time is super precious. There are other ways to spend our time. There are other ways to make an income. Maybe not as flexible as having your own business, but if you want to keep going in your business for a while, you need to be being rewarded, and rewarded in a way, financially, in a way that doesn't burn you out and forces you to sacrifice your family or yourself, your mental health, any of those things. And that means planning to make a salary.
So these money roadblocks that you talk about, that is why we see so many virtual assistants really struggling when it comes to what they're charging themselves out for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I think there are challenges that we have in general in business. We think our salary is a reward, not a fixed business cost you have to plan for. Women, we have an issue with putting ourselves last. So we don't want to kind of charge very much. And then you have, on top of that, VAs then have this is sometimes with so many VAs I've talked to, this additional thought of, well, I'm just doing it on the side, or I'm doing it in between the kids, or I'm doing it from home, or I'm just kind of helping people out. I'm not trained to. They have all of these reasons they're telling themselves to undervalue what they do. And it's just wrong.
Yeah.
VAs are incredibly important and incredibly valuable for small businesses. Right? You guys are our second and third pair of hands. VAs are what help small businesses to actually grow and function, and help business owners like myself. I have a VA, and it was my first big investment in outsourcing and getting help. Was I can't wait till I have a VA because VAs help business owners focus on the things that only business owners can do. Right?
I think you just said the word investment. When I invest in a VA, and I think that is really key, because a lot of people think, it's just going to be a cost to me getting a VA. But absolutely, it's an investment, because they're going to get a return on you spending your time delivering whatever it is you do for your services.
100%. So, I mean, absolutely, VAs are an investment, and investments, whether it is a VA or whether it's a tool or whether it's whatever it might be, investments are great things. You got to make sure you're not over investing in things you don't need, but investments enable you to do more with your time. They enable you to have the business you want to have. That is the purpose of investments. And if an investment isn't helping you get more of your time, or isn't helping you to have the business you want to have, then that's not an investment worth doing. VAs are an absolute investment, because as you guys will know, as VAs will know, as business owners themselves, there are so many things we've got to do during the day to get stuff done. We only have so much time. As business owners, we need to focus on those activities that we love doing, that we get energy from, and that help move our business forward. Everything else, we ultimately want to outsource to somebody else, whatever shape or form that might be. That is where VAs are absolutely incredible.
I think I picked up on another word that you were saying too when we were talking about the stories that we tell ourselves, and you said the word just. And I think that's really key for us, especially as women and as VAs, to stop every time we want to say the word just, remove the word adjust. And it's not just a small business, or it's not just a wee business that we're doing, or it's not just something on the side.
Yeah,
I used to say that all the time. Someone would say, "Oh, so what are you doing now?" I just work from home. Like, what? What was I thinking?
Yeah, I'm just a VA. What? Are you kidding me? VAs are amazing. VAs are superstars. And you're like, yeah, I'm a VA. Thank you very much. Like, absolutely. It's the same with us have a we business. Oh, there is nothing we about your business. You are running a business. It might be small. You might not have many clients. You might not be making much money yet, but you have a business.
Yeah. And, it's something that Joe and I are really passionate about. It's not just empowering women to become the best virtual assistants that they can be, but it's actually empowering them to be amazing business owners. Right. It's taking off that VA hat and putting on the business owner hat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And for me, there's a couple of key things to have a successful business. First of all, you need to provide a service people are prepared to pay for. Number one. So let's all assume that we've ticked that box. So number one, a service people are prepared to pay for, which VA services people are. So we've ticked that. You need to know how to sell and how to market. That is obviously key. But aside with that, you do need to know how to price that so you can keep delivering that service in a way that makes sense to you and the lifestyle you want to have, and that's rewarding you and helping you achieve your personal and your life goals. So those two things are quite critical, and then obviously being able to deliver against what you've sold. But you can get those two things, like have something people are prepared to pay for. You know how to kind of get that in front of the people who need to hear about what you can do, and you know how to price it in a way that you're being rewarded without having to burn out in order to deliver it. Business.
So how do you do that? How do you know what you need to charge?
Oh, the $100 question, or is it a $1,000 question? No.
Because I think it's important to note here that many listeners will be thinking, oh, how am I going to compete when there's so many cheap
Yes.
VAs around? So yeah, how do we get through that?
Yeah. Okay. So the cheap VA, and I absolutely understand that concern that VAs have. It seems to be becoming more prevalent that the dialogue and the conversation around these, $5 VAs or the $15 VAs overseas. And I understand where there is this fear and concern and like, how am I ever going to compete against that? And my answer to that is you don't. You don't compete for the $15 VA job. You can't win the competition to the lowest price. You don't want to win the competition for the lowest price.
Yeah, that's true. Why would you want to?
Why would you want to win that? Yay, I got the $15 job. You can't run your business on the $15 job, let alone pay yourself. So when it comes to how do I compete with the VAs out there who are charging, the overseas ones who are charging $15, the answer is you don't compete. What you compete on is you compete on that unique blend of your experience, your expertise, your personality, your talents, your passion that makes you uniquely you. You compete on that, right? If someone wants to go and outsource something to a $15 VA overseas, which I don't actually have a problem with for some activities, go for it. That's not your activity. For VAs, I think it's so important, as it is with any business, to understand what you personally bring to the table, what sets you apart from other VAs, but what sets you apart that is unique to you, that is really going to address key issues for your ideal clients, and just own the crap out of that, right? Because that is so valuable and no one else can compete against you for being you.
What I love too about you, Nat, is that you call yourself a pricing expert. Now, you may not be the best pricing expert in the entire world. I think
she is.
But you're still going to own that word. I'm a pricing expert.
Oh, yes.
And so for virtual assistants, you may not be the best virtual assistant in whatever service you're providing, but you can still be an expert and you can still call yourself an expert. So I think owning what's unique about yourself, right? And calling yourself an expert in whatever you're going to provide.
Yeah. You are an expert of being you.
Yeah.
So it's that journey, almost a journey of discovery. But it is a journey of going, actually, I bring a unique blend of experience. And you can pull from raising kids. You can pull from managing, different education experience, different hobbies you had, different jobs that you had. You can pull from all of that to go, actually, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I'm really good at doing. And this is the problem, kind of more importantly from a marketing perspective, this is the problem I help you solve, dear business owner. And this is what your life and your business is going to be like after you've worked with me. That is valuable. So, I think you guys may have heard me talk about kind of the 4 key pricing methods, which is particularly relevant for VAs. What they are is, so market-based pricing, goal-based pricing, cost-based pricing, and value-based pricing. Each one is more powerful than the last. Most businesses, and VAs in particular, stick with market-based pricing. I've never had an industry that is stuck on market-based pricing more than the VA industry. It's like 35, 50, 70, boom. Like those are your choices. Seems to be, there are some slight variations by about $5, but these are these hierarchies that you live in. The problem with market-based pricing is that you have no idea if your competitors are making any money.
Yeah, that's so true. You've got no idea what's going on behind the scenes.
And if you're going, well, I can't charge more because there's another VA over there who has, I think, look what she's doing. She's amazing because her social media feed looks great. And she's only charging 50. I can't charge 50 or I can't charge more because, I'll lose clients. I can't compete, all of that kind of stuff. That $50 VA is going, I'm doing all these things, but I'm not making any money. This is horrible, but I can't charge more because I'm not earning it. I'm not as good as the person.
Yeah.
So your market-based pricing as a pricing method is actually really unreliable. It is useful for context when you work out what you do need to earn personally based on your specific set of circumstances, your expectations for salary, how you run your business, your overheads, how many hours you want to work, all of these factors that influence how much you need to earn per hour and therefore charge per hour. You can go, right, well, if that's what I need to earn and what I need to charge, where does that set me? Am I kind of premium end of the spectrum? Am I cheap and cheerful, which is volume? Or am I in the middle, which is how do I stand out in a crowded marketplace? But to answer your actual question, Joe, when we move down to value-based pricing, what's super powerful about that in comparison is it's not about you. It's not about how much you're worth. It's about the change you help your clients to make and how valuable that is to them. And I think for whether you're a VA, a social media marketer, a copywriter, a designer, whatever, a coach, whatever you are, moving away from market-based pricing and moving towards a place where you really understand and believe in your value, and that shift towards it's not about me. It's not about my, how much I'm worth, because we all suck at that most of the time. But it's about the change I help my clients to achieve and how valuable that is to them is an incredibly empowering new dialogue and new narrative to have, particularly for us Kiwi women who we suck at putting ourselves forward anyway. So, focusing on the client and the benefit for them, is really key to increasing your confidence and your courage to start charging what you're worth.
That was huge for me in my own business. Like I remember really, really clearly that kind of when I went from the market-based pricing to the value-based, but it took a couple of years and I was burnt out. I was close to just giving it all up. I had a huge wait list of clients. I was inundated, daily queries coming in. But I was just absolutely burnt out. I thought, my God, I can't keep this up. I'm exhausted. And then something just kind of clicked. And I was like, right, in order for this to become something long-term or even longer term, then I've got to change something. And, for me, it was then, really having the confidence in myself and in my value to then up my prices, get some really good packages in place. That was huge for me. The packages was massive. And I know that I then went from, and I've shared this on on other platforms. I went from doing the same amount of number of hours, but doubling the amount that I was earning. And look back now, you think, my God, that was so easy. Why didn't I do it sooner?
Because you don't know. No one tells you.
No, they don't.
Thank you so much for sharing, Sam. And I understand what it's like when you are, particularly when you're starting out, and you just say yes.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're taught to do. We're taught to say yes to every client, to every opportunity, because revenue, money is good, right? And being overworked is great. That's a great sign, isn't it? Having more work than you can handle is awesome. That's success, isn't it? Like, that's what we're taught.
That's what you think. Yeah. It's the wrong type of busy though, isn't it? It's busy, but it's the wrong type of busy.
Yeah. For me, a good healthy business is one where you're about 80% at capacity. So you're not working your weekends, you're not working your evenings. You've got time to do your stuff, but you've got fairly solid booked days doing work, and you're happy, and you're earning your goal salary.
Mm.
If you're not near earning your goal salary, like every single month, and you are maxed, you have a commercial model problem. You have a pricing problem.
Yeah.
Because you should be earning exactly what you want to every single month without being overworked.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, your business model is broken. Your pricing is broken.
I think going back to what you said about, like, if you're providing social media services as a package, like, what is the value to that client? Now, if you do some amazing campaigns on social media and they get 5 clients and the lifetime value of a client is $100,000, you just made them $500,000 of like revenue coming in over the lifetime of those clients. Like, that is valuable. So
hugely valuable.
If you're like, oh, but I'll just charge $30 an hour, and we're talking in New Zealand dollars here, like $30 an hour, and you deliver that for them, like, they are going to be over the moon, and they would be willing to pay a lot more. And I think virtual assistants say, oh, I can't really charge any more than that because I'm not an expert. Or they say, oh, but I don't know about this other thing that they might need to deliver in the future. Or, I'm not the best VA, or I couldn't afford to pay that myself. That one really triggers me. It doesn't matter if you can afford your own service.
You're not your ideal client.
That's true. That's true. And the other one that we see a lot coming through is, well, I haven't got any clients yet. I've only just launched.
Yeah.
So how can I be charging a high end price? Well, you've then got to remember it's all that skills and experience that you're bringing along with you. Just because you've only just launched and you haven't onboarded your first client yet doesn't mean that you're starting out at $5 an hour, does it?
Yeah. No, and I think that's a real challenge. I think for an unknown for a lot of people first starting out is, what do I charge? How do I charge? And kind of, again, that let's just position yourself really low to get a client. And I think my general recommendation for when people are starting out is, when you first start out, actually don't worry about what you charge. Like, take pricing off the worry list for when you first start out. You got enough things to worry about. Don't worry about pricing. You're not going to be making huge numbers of money to start with anyway. When you first start, it is about getting clients, delighting the crap out of them, learning how you want to deliver, where your specialisms are, getting social proof, getting recommendations, referrals, case studies, because you get paid in experience and expertise more than you necessarily get paid in revenue. But you don't want to undersell yourself as well. You don't want to position yourself as saying, I'm not worth very much, because then people are going to undervalue what you do deliver. So one method that I recommend for people when they're first starting out is you offer a special price. You literally call it a special price. For the next 5 clients, I'm offering a special deal or a special price of X, whatever number you feel comfortable enough to sell at, that doesn't undervalue you. And people go, oh, okay, special price. So obviously you're worth more. Like, you're worth more than that, because otherwise it's not a special price. Yay, I'm getting a discount on something that I want and that's valuable. And you go, yay, I get some clients and it wasn't too hard or too scary to sell. Once those 5 have gone, or whatever number you choose, put your price up.
Yeah.
And then at some point when you're like, right, okay, now I've got enough clients. Now I know I'm really good at this. I want to make this a business. Then you need to go, right, what do I actually need to charge? Let's stop kind of finger in the air guessing at what my prices are. Now I need to do the work to say, okay, what do I personally want to earn? How do I personally want to work? what lifestyle do I want to have? And therefore, what do I need to be earning and therefore charging for this business to make sense? Let's figure that out. And then all the steps I put in my business to get me to that destination is going to actually get me to a place where I'm really happy and I'm earning my goal salary, working school hours or working part-time, as opposed to like Sam, where you and so many others end up, which is overworked. And usually still not earning what they need to. Hence why we overwork, is to try and get more money, because apparently that's how you do it.
So what do you say, Nat, to those that are listening and they know that their prices don't reflect their value, and they're keen to increase their prices or change the way their prices are, so maybe going into packages, service plans, whatever it is. But oh my God, global pandemic. I'm not going to get
prices up now. It's
I can't do it. I'm not going to get any clients because all of my clients, no one's making money.
Yeah. So that's a really great question. And thanks for raising it, because I think that is, again, a narrative that a lot of people are talking about. And it's a good question to be asking ourselves as business owners when we have such a shift and a change going on in the industry and business around us, just reevaluating where we are, what we need to do going forward. And what I will challenge is there are lots of businesses making money right now.
There are, yes.
There are lots of people going into business right now. Probably more people going into business for themselves right now than there has been in years, because people have lost their jobs as employees.
Yeah.
Right? So there are opportunities out there. Absolutely. There are certain industries, hospitality obviously being one of them, that are really struggling right now. So that there are certain industries that are going to that have been really hit, and they will have a bit of a knock-on effect as well. There are other industries right now who are happy days, and we take examples of, let's say, marketing. If you are in business right now, you need to be marketing more than you were before. So there are all these industries out there that have lots of are growing. I've had probably more clients in the last 3 months than I ever have before, which is great. I'm happy. But what that means to me is they are all small businesses.
Yeah.
They are all small businesses who have had more clients than they have had before and are determined to make the business a success. So I think, well, yes, there is truth to global pandemic. People are struggling. And, there are challenges. I absolutely would challenge that. Well, no one's, there isn't businesses out there. There are. So it really becomes a question of thinking about your ideal client. Like, who are they? If you don't know that question, then you probably need to do some work on who your ideal client is. But let's say you do have a fairly good idea of your ideal client. Ask yourself, what are they struggling with right now? What is, if I could help them do one thing right now, what is that one thing? How do I deliver that for them? So it's not, and if you go, what is my ideal client? What's the one thing, we just froze just then. What's the one thing I can help them with? What is the price point that makes sense to them? How can I deliver that one thing, not everything, not all the bells and whistles, just the one thing that makes the biggest impact for that price point in a way that is cost effective for me?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's your
package.
package.
Yeah.
And that's a package. That by definition, welcome to the world of packages. If you ever wanted to start doing packages, now is the time to start doing packages, because you are solving your clients' problems. You're just solving one, so that is easy for them to say yes financially, because they're like, thank goodness you can take that off my worry list at a price point I can say yes to. And you're going, great, I can actually deliver this in a way that's also profitable for me. It's a win-win for both people.
And Jo, you've touched on this before, haven't you? In terms of packages, it's a lot easier to communicate the value your client is getting from that package than it is to communicate the value that they're going to get from an hourly rate.
Totally, yeah. The people can see when they don't have to do the calculation of the hours and the dollars, in knowing what like the total cost is or the total investment and what the total like value is and the outcome that they're going to get. People can match that up way easier than they can like, oh, so you're going to charge me $60 an hour when I can get a part-time person in my office for 25. So that's the comparison that they make, not understanding, that you can't just that's apples and oranges. It's not, apples with apples.
Yeah.
But people make that calculation or that comparison. But yeah, when they think about like, oh, okay, so I can get this outcome for this dollar, right? I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. And it's when you are on an hourly rate, the incentive to the business owner is reduce your number of hours, right? To reduce their costs. Where when it's a package deal and you go, right, well, actually, I see the return. I understand the return I get on that package. I want more of those returns. I want more packages. So you're actually rewarding them to do more, whereas hourly rate, the reward is to do less.
That's so true. I'd never thought of it that way.
No, I've never thought of that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm blown.
Anyone who's listening, Sam just did like a big mind blow action.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Natalie, where can people, like, this has been amazing. Loved hearing these little epiphanies of like been popping in my head. Where do people go now to get more from you?
So I think for a lot of people right now, if you've been listening to this kind of all the way through, then you're probably at the point where you're like, I know I need to sort something out. And the fact that I love, if you've been listening to this all the way through, is you're actually already committed to doing something about it. And that doing something about it is actually figuring out what you need to be charging for yourself, for your business to work, and to actually start to really understand your value that you bring and how to make this business profitable in a really healthy and sustainable way. And that is exactly why I've created a program for women entrepreneurs, specifically for the likes of VAs running service-based businesses, is to take the guesswork and the overwhelm out of pricing so that you can go on and grow your business and pay yourself what you're actually worth, only working the hours you have available. So that's what I would recommend.
Nice.
Well, I mean, that's like living the dream. Sign me up, please.
Absolutely. But it's not a dream, it's reality. Like it's a very easy, it's a very simple reality to achieve. Once you know what you need to charge and you understand your value, it's just doing the steps to get there.
So you've got a program coming out soon, don't you, Nat?
I do. So this is the last time I'm running this program this year, and actually going to be the last time I'm running it for another 18 months, basically. And it's my How to Nail Your Pricing and Pay Yourself What You're Worth program. It's designed specifically for solopreneurs. It starts on the 2nd of November, and you will get, we go through all of the steps in the process. It's a 6-week-long online group experience. You get to work with me for 6 weeks. We work together as a group to sort out all your pricing, help you really believe in your value, and end up with an action plan for going into 2021, knowing your value, knowing what you need to charge, and actually knowing how many clients you need to pay yourself a salary every single month, only working the hours you want.
Amazing. That's the dream, isn't it? So if anyone
is
stop
calling it a dream.
The dream.
This is the dream life. This is
it's a dream life. Yes, but it's, it needs to be.
It's not.
It's not a dream.
Yeah.
People need to own how, and this is one of the first questions I get people to ask is actually, how do you want to live?
Mm-hmm.
What lifestyle do you want for yourself and your loved ones? That's the first question. Not what's your business like, it's how do you want to live? What's the lifestyle you want? How do you want to be working within that? Because I'm pretty sure most of us don't want to be working 5 days a week. We don't want to be working weekends. We don't want to be working at 3 a.m. We want to be working, if you're, a lot of us are mothers as well. You don't have to be. But for, a lot of us, we have school hours, right? So we just want to work. I work 3.5 days a week during daycare hours, right? That's my lifestyle. So I build my business around that. Mm-hmm. And I take all the steps I need to do in order to make that destination and that vision a reality.
I love that. I love that we can all do that. So, guys, if you're listening, check out Natalie at nataliecoombe.com.
Yes, absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege to help VAs and business owners everywhere to pay themselves what you're worth in a way that's healthy and sustainable and help you achieve your vision.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Natalie. We'll pop all the links down in the show notes too.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much too.
Thanks to everyone for listening to this episode of the Sam and Joe VA Show. If you'd like to find out more, head to the Savvy School website to check out the amazing members club and find more free resources.
You can find us at savvyschool.co.nz.